All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Kirby, and I am the Director of Global Higher Education Recruitment here at ELS. And we are so excited that you're joining us this morning to talk all about OPT and what that means for your students and what opportunities that can afford them. I'm joined here by a fantastic group of people from University of St. Thomas, and also I'm going to start by introducing Mr. Santiago Castro, who is the Director of Recruitment for ELS Latam, except Brazil. So Santiago.
Hi, Mackenzie. How are you? Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to be here today with you guys. And thank you, because I'm sure the information we are going to receive today is going to be extremely helpful. Okay? Y para todas las personas que se conectan, que nos están acompañando el día de hoy, buenos días. Muchas gracias por asistir el día de hoy. Esperamos que en verdad la información que vamos a compartir sea del agrado de ustedes y de mucha importancia. Sabemos lo importante que es esto. Y en serio, cualquier inquietud que tengan, no duden en dejarnos saber, ¿vale?
All right.
Thanks, Mackenzie.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're going to get started, and I want to start by introducing our team here. Up at the top of the screen, we have Miss Rose Trafford, and she works with the International Year One program. Right below her, we have Amanda Hager, who also works with International Year One program and direct students as well, who are going straight into University of St. Thomas. And then below that, down here at the bottom, we have Othman Zaimi, who also goes by Ozzy, as you can see by his name. And he works in the International Student Services Department and is the expert on immigration and is going to be teaching all about OPT for you guys right now. So with that being said, Amanda, if you want to get us started.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mackenzie. So for today, just a little overview. Ozzy's going to teach you all about the basics of optional practical training, or OPT. And then we'll tell you a little bit about what that looks like at St. Thomas throughout, and a little bit more about if you have a student who's interested in some of the things we offer at St. Thomas, we'll tell you a little bit more about that as well, including our International Year One program. So Ozzy, take it away.
All right. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. So today I'll be talking to you a little bit about what OPT is, what that means for your student that you may be talking to, and to just have a general understanding for what it means for students here at St. Thomas and in the United States. So I'm not sure where the slide went, but that should be fine. OPT is optional practical training. So that is what the name is, but we always call it OPT. What that is basically is that it is simply an employment authorization that allows students to work after they graduate, which is generally when OPT is used. It is a right that all international students who are F1, which is the most common student visa, have the right to apply for and the right to do so. So it is a government right. So the U.S. government has to approve this OPT application, which we'll talk about a little bit. It is a benefit, as I said, that needs to be approved by the government. So our university, helps the students make sure that they get the right documents, the right application, and to apply. So that's why it is something that can be worked with our advisor, just like us. OPT was basically created to give international students the ability to have practical experience in their field. It is something that allows them to really learn more about their major and their department and whatever they want to study, but allow them to work. So then that's why it has to be related to their major. That is something very important that we work with the students on. Also, it is a way to get a job in the United States that gets actually that allows you to get paid. So that is something that is good for some students who are looking forward to what are some ways they can get experience in the United States. OPT is one of the answers, and it's something that can help. So what are the types of OPT that exists? So there are 3 types of OPT that you may hear of as you are looking or talking to students about. For the first one is very rare. It's called the pre-completion OPT. What that means is that it is a way for a student to work off campus before they graduate. using this application process. Here's the deal, though. It is very rare because there is a better alternative, especially here at the University of St. Thomas. We call that alternative CPT, which I'll talk about a little bit. So that's why OPT is a very rare thing that doesn't happen very often, but basically it allows you to work off campus for a certain amount of time. Post-completion OPT is what we call OPT. That is, when you hear OPT, that is normally what people think about. It is this ability to work for a certain period of time after you graduate, and in your field of study. And that is what the most common version of OPT. Finally, there is also STEM OPT, which you might hear as well, which is the OPT extension. What that is that it allows some people in the STEM field, which means science, technology, engineering, and math, those majors, it allows them to continue working past OPT, at the end of OPT. So that's why it's called an extension. So people in that field, so if you're working with students who are in that field, they will have more opportunity to work longer in the United States using this OPT application. So who can do OPT? Who is eligible? As I said before, all F1 students who have completed at least 2 semesters in the United States are eligible for OPT. So this is a requirement by the government. This is not our university saying you have to wait 2 semesters. This is a clear written requirement by the government that the students have to complete 2 full semesters, or sometimes the equivalent of a year of study in the United States before they can apply for OPT. So that is relevant for all students, whether it is an undergraduate, a master's, or PhD, any type of students who may be working with you. They should be eligible after they complete a full year of OPT. So that is, a full year in the United States as a full-time student. So it's not always available first thing first. However, it is available if you're transferring from one institution to the other. As long as you've done two semesters in the US, you've got the right to apply for OPT. So we at St. Thomas, we do things a little bit differently, which is one of the reasons why a lot of students really appreciate our work. So we consider 2 full semester requirements to be at any institution, as I said, and also with any visa. So if you have someone who has transferring from another status and come into to be an F1 student, as long as they completed 2 semesters in the US, it works for them. And to tell you a little bit more about St. Thomas, and especially about us, we have honestly some of the best team of advisors in the region. We are very kind of familiar with the rules and with the requirements for OPT and for all those government rules. In fact, we sometimes are called to help teach other institutions how to do. We just did a training a week ago to other institutions about how to approach these rules. So we can read the rules and understand them, and our goal is whatever we can do is to benefit the student. This is why we have our team reading carefully all the rules and allowing them to figure out, all right, actually, it is possible for you to kind of immediately do OPT if you've done a year before in the US, even if it's not within our school. Other institutions may not read it that way. They may be like, no, you have to do a year in our institution before you can do, even if whatever you've done in the past doesn't matter. So that's why sometimes different readings can cause a lot of different experience for the students. We want what's best for the student. So let's talk about the timeline. What does that mean in terms of like how much time do students have in OPT? Well, OPT is a year. So it is an agreement or an application that allows students to work for 1 year after they graduate. That is 1 year when they don't have to be a student. That means that is after they don't have to take credits, they don't have to be part of the institution, they don't even have to be in the state where they've got their degree. So let's say we have a student who graduated from St. Thomas here in wonderful St. Paul, Minnesota. they can go do their OPT anywhere in the United States, as long as the job is related to their field of study. So that is why it's a really great experience to tell a student if they're thinking, well, I just want to I want to do my degree in St. Thomas, but then I want to explore and do some like employment somewhere else in California and other places. This is possible with OPT. Even more with STEM OPT. So STEM OPT is, as I said, it is an extension to OPT. So it allows students to work an extra 2 years after their 1 year of OPT. So that is a total of 3 years that a student is able to work for a company in the United States without having to take any credits or classes. So as long as they're working with their field, this is something that they have the ability to do. And the application process, we'll talk about it a little bit, but it's not that hard, which means it's something very accessible to a lot of the students. As I mentioned, for the application process, the students have to apply 3 months before they graduate, and they work with us on that process. So that's what we'll see in the next slide. So what is this process, right? You may hear, oh my gosh, this is going to be working with the government. It's a lot of things. Anybody who had to do any kind of visa or paperwork, it's hard, right? But no worries. We here, as I said, are very experienced in this process. We do hundreds of OPT applications per year. Myself and my other colleagues here, we work with the students directly, either in person or over Zoom, to give them the ability to work with us. What they do is, as I said, OPT has to be approved by the government, right? But it also has to be approved by our university. So that is us. The DSO is myself or my 2 colleagues and other people here who are DSOs. We help with this. So how St. Thomas does it, and it could be different for other institutions, but we pay a lot of attention to personal attention and personal care. We want the students to get what they need and be successful. So the students gather all their documents. There's a check. Currently it costs about $410 for the application. So 410, not that expensive when you look at your grand scheme. So we get some photos, some photocopies, some forms, very simple stuff for the student to gather. Then they get an approval from their advisor, academic advisor, who just tells us, yep, the student is ready to graduate. And then they come with us and we work with them to get all their documents ready, prepared. We print everything for them. We photocopy everything for them. We have it ready in a form, in an envelope. And all they have to do after that is mail it. They can trust us to help them and support them through the whole process. And we're also fairly quick, I will say. The advantage of being our institution is very much we care about personal attention. So we meet with the students in person. We don't let them wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Sometimes they can call and say, when can I meet with an advisor? Hey, I have an hour and 2 hours. Come on over, and we can work with them. It's something we're very proud of, and a lot of students tell us, you guys are so quick, especially those transferring from other institutions. They're like, well, yeah, we can do this quickly. In terms of the next steps, right? So what the students do once they apply, it takes a bit of time. That is something that is a little bit difficult, and we work with the students on is a timeline. After our work, which is very quick, the timeline becomes slower because that's the government. The government has to actually approve the application, and that can take between 2 and sometimes 5 months. So they work on that. We help them. I want to say, well, we hold their hands while they're waiting, but we don't really do that. But we wait with them until they finally get their OPT card. So that is what tells them that they are able to work. One thing that is nice is that the student do not need to have a job in advance to apply for OPT. So like they can just apply and then start looking for a job, which is something we recommend the students to do. And one more thing that we help with at St. Thomas is that we actually have a career office that we work with very closely, and they understand what OPT and other applications are. They know that international students have different things that they have to go through to get a job, So we work with them and they work with the student to help them prepare their resumes, the letters of application, so that when they finally have their permission from the government, they're ready to go start working in big companies and make some of them make good money on those jobs too, which is good for them. So after OPT is done, right? What happens after OPT? Well, as I mentioned, STEM is the first option. So if you have a science, technology, engineer, and math degree, you get an extra 2 years. That is something that you have access to, and you apply. Same process. We help with that process as well. Other options that students have is they can get sponsored by H1Bs. That means the company can sponsor them and allows them to kind of stay with them and be in the United States. So if one of your students is interested in truly building a long career in the United States, that's one way they can do this. And then another way is they can go back to school and do more CPT. So let me talk about CPT very briefly too, because while this presentation is about OPT, something that you may have heard of is called CPT, which is curricular practical training. So what that is simply the ability to work while you are a student. As I mentioned, OPT is after you graduate. CPT is while you are a student. It's much more quicker to process because we do it. We approve it. Our office just goes ahead, looks at the documents, and approves it immediately on the spot. However, CPT rules are very institution-based, because the institution can decide a lot of different things. So some universities, like our competitor U of M, doesn't allow CPT almost at all for any students. So that is something that can happen. The institution can just say, nope, students are not allowed to do CPT. We, however, allow it, and we help the students with the process. CPT can be part-time and full-time. You can have it during the semester, on the summer, and things like that. So it's possible that a student can work while they're still studying. They still have to wait 2 full semesters before they can graduate, before they can do the CPT. So same as OPT, you do have to wait a year. So if you're working with prospective students, they do have to know that there is a period of time when they cannot work on CPT or OPT until they wait a year normally. And then, yes, most students, so at St. Thomas, most students, what they do is they wait until their very last year as a senior or as a second year grad students, if they're graduates, and then they do a 1 year of full-time CPT, and then 1 year of OPT, and then 2 years of STEM OPT. That is 4 continuous years of full-time employment with a company. So that is just a very good opportunity. So that's kind of a lot of the information I have for you about OPT and CPT. And Amanda will take over and tell you a little bit more about St. Thomas.
Awesome. Thanks, Ozzy. Ozzy and the rest of the team at St. Thomas here, we're all together in one office. So students get support from when they're applying to after they graduate, when they're working on OPT. So it's an awesome model that we have. So at the University of St. Thomas, we are ranked number 136 in national universities. There are thousands of universities in the United States. We've recently jumped up a lot in some of our rankings, like best value for a school overall. So number 67 best value in the entire United States, number 1 in the state of Minnesota. We have the second highest concentration of universities in the Twin Cities. So there's a lot of colleges here. We are the largest private university in Minnesota. So we have about 10,000 total students, 6,000 undergraduate students, and we have 78 different countries represented on campus, and international students make up about 6% of our population. So it's the right size fit where students get all the personal attention, like Ozzy mentioned, not just from our office, but from their professors. Because there are 100% faculty-led courses. And what this means is there'd be about 20 students in a class on average. There will never be a graduate student or a PhD student teaching that class. It'll always be a full-time faculty. So not full-time faculty, but a professor. And so at larger institutions, sometimes that's just not how it works. They have larger lecture halls, more teaching for graduate students, but we believe in personal attention a lot. So that's not allowed here. A lot of people talk about kind of like theory meets practice. A lot of students want to come to the United States because they want that practical knowledge or practical skills. We're really proud of all of our classes and all of our majors for having that experience for students to apply what they know into real world experiences. And one of the ways that students can do that is through our undergraduate research opportunities. So what I always tell students is no matter where you go, ask about if it's an undergraduate focused university. And what that means is that a lot of those research opportunities, a lot of that opportunities and focus are on the undergraduate, the bachelor's level student populations. Not every school is structured this way. A lot of schools, if they have very strong master's programs and they're a very large institution where they have, maybe 50,000 students, those research opportunities tend to go to graduate students or PhD students. So for master's students, that's where you should go. But for an undergraduate student, you want to go to an undergraduate focused university because all of those amazing research opportunities go to the undergraduate students then. And when they start grad school or they go into the work field, they're already more qualified. They've had more experiences. So the state of Minnesota, if you're not familiar, I put a little icon down here where we're located in the United States. We're right here. And we are located in an area called the Twin Cities. So it's Minneapolis and St. Paul. And our campus is on the Mississippi River. So right in the middle of both cities. I would like to point out that we are consistently ranked very high in any metric of general happiness, health, safety. We're always in the top 3 for a lot of things that talk about quality of life. And that's good, not just for when students are studying, but also when they're working after they graduate. If they end up staying in the United States, like this is a really great place to live. For job opportunities, it's the #1 best city for tech jobs, #2 best city for recent grads because cost of living, job opportunities, quality of life. And for job opportunities, we have 17 Fortune 500 companies who have their international headquarters in Minnesota, most of them right in the Twin Cities. You've probably seen things like 3M. 3M is located in St. Paul. Best Buy, Ecolab, Medtronic, all of these companies are the ones who would come to campus and talk to students about internship opportunities using CPT or potential full-time opportunities using OPT. So these are available to students to have that experience, to network and get to know people, and then have those really good working opportunities afterward. For students on OPT, like Ozzy said, they do not have to stay in the state. Let's say they're wrapping up their degree at St. Thomas and they got this really cool job opportunity in a different state. That is totally fine. That is allowed. And so that does open up kind of the job market much wider for students on OPT. So at the University of St. Thomas, if you want to take a picture of this, because that's a lot of different majors and minors, we have over 150 different majors and minors. And what's great about this is there's a little STEM word right after the major to let you know if it's eligible for that STEM extension. And so students would know from the beginning if they're eligible to potentially have that up to 3 years OPT with that extension. So these are our key areas of study for international students. These are ones that we found to be the most popular, but students can study any combination of majors or minors that they would like. And one of our most popular is our program for engineering. We have 4 different areas of engineering, and we are ranked number 39 in the United States. So out of thousands of schools, that's incredible. Our Opus College of Business has 12 different areas of study. And what's really exciting is our entrepreneurship program just this week got ranked by Princeton Review as number 23 in the country, number 1 out of all Catholic colleges, and number 1 in the state of Minnesota. That's a huge, incredible feat. They jumped 10 spaces up in the country from 33 to 23 this week. Our entrepreneurship program is amazing and extremely popular with students. And students often will do entrepreneurship and another major within business or outside of business, whatever they would like. Our science degrees, these are extremely popular because there's a lot of paid research opportunities within the field of natural sciences. We have students who are working with their professors to get published with their professors. As an undergraduate student, that's an incredible opportunity. We have students who get grants to do research all throughout their 4 years during the summer. We have students who move on to major PhD programs after their awesome undergraduate experiences here with all the research they were able to accomplish. For computer science, this is a growing and very popular field of study. For computer science, especially, students might do a double major or add a minor in applied statistics or data analytics, or they can choose any of those as majors. And I actually just met with a professor from computer science the other week, and he said that it's really good for students to get jobs in the Twin Cities if they're studying computer science. He said almost all their students have job offers before they graduate at big companies like US Bank, because everybody needs computer scientists. And then our math and actuarial science program, if you're not familiar with actuarial science, it is the study of calculating risk. And so it's very math intensive. But for our program, we are actually designated as a Center for Actuarial Excellence. And this designation is only given to the top schools, the top programs across the world, and only 17 universities in the United States and 33 universities in the world have this designation. So if you're working with a student who's very strong at math and wants really fantastic job opportunities, I would highly recommend you talk to them about actuarial science at St. Thomas. And then Rose is going to tell you all about our awesome International Year One program. Rose, you're on mute.
Thank you. Okay, so our International Year One program is a specific program that allows students that have great academics, but maybe need a little bit more English support to still participate in a bachelor's degree program. So as you can see, there are a few examples here of the English proficiency scores that we require for the International Year One program. And then the program is designed to help students improve their English, but also help adjust to life in the US, improve study skills, etc. The International Year One program is a specific program for those students for just their first year. So as you can see on the slide, the undergraduate degree program Year One and the International Year One program both take 1 year. So once the International Year One program students complete their freshman year at the university, they will go into their second and third and fourth years with all of the other students at the same level and still have the ability to graduate in 4 years. Some of the benefits for the International Year One program are you're still able to attend and graduate from St. Thomas in 4 years. There are lower English and GPA entry requirements. You don't have to take the ACT, SAT, or anything like that. The program itself is about half English courses and half academic courses. So you're still taking college level classes. They're not all English classes. Some of them are. And then we also have a lot of support for these students. So for example, the very last thing on this slide says there's a dedicated International Year One Student Services Manager. Her whole job is to support International Year One students. So she helps with the academics and anything else that those students may need.
Awesome. Thanks, Rose. So the International Year One program is an awesome option for your students who maybe have a slightly lower English proficiency level because they still get a St. Thomas I-20, which is really awesome for their visa interview process as well. If you have students who are qualified for either direct or International Year One admission, you can reach out to myself or Rose. You can also apply your students through UAS Super Service. We also have an Instagram. If you have any questions at all about applying St. Thomas, about OPT in general, we are happy to help with any questions you have. I know that learning a lot about OPT, it can kind of seem a little overwhelming sometimes. So we are here to help support you with any questions that you have. Do we have any questions? We're happy to answer them here now if you want to put them in the chat. But thank you so much for your time today as well.
Yes, we don't have any questions right now, but like Amanda and Rose and Ozzy said, let me grab you back on here, Ozzy. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out. There's about 1 billion ways to reach out to us, like Amanda said, through Facebook, through Instagram, through email, through ELS's UAS service, so many different ways. But I will thank you all so much for your time, and I will leave it with Santiago to say whatever you would like to say to your agents who are watching.
Sure, thanks, Mackenzie. Well, and guys, thank you so much for this interesting and beautiful presentation. I've learned many things about OPT and the options our students are going to have while studying with St. Thomas. I'm really successful as well our agents and students who joined us today. So thank you so much. And for my agents and students, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to send us an email or a message, WhatsApp, or wherever you can do. You can send us a message. And of course, we'll be more than happy to answer to all of your questions. Once again, thank you for your time and hope to see you all soon.